Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tennis Weekly with Joel, Kim, and Chris. On today's US Open draw reaction,
Alcaraz draws Opelka in round one.
Sabalenka faces fight with stacked quarter.
And Vavasori and Irani do it for the doubles players.
Kim, Chris, today is the 21st of August, and we are here to catch up on the US Open draws at Tennis Weekly HQ. That's right, the men's and women's singles draws have landed for the fourth and final slam of the year. So why not join Tennis Weekly as always as we go quarter by quarter through each of the draws. We're going to be making some predictions. We've got some bold predictions lined up, and we're going to be unveiling who we think our champions are. We've also got to collect a set with a new prize that we're going to be unveiling in the second half. So definitely stick around for that. But guys, it's a bit of a weird preview episode for the draw because as much as we're looking forward to the US Open, we're also announcing the US Open mixed doubles champions.
Very bizarre turn of events, isn't it? I think this is the only time we've ever announced a Grand Slam winner before the Grand Slams technically started.
I was just getting used to announcing them on a Thursday.
Yeah, of the second week.
Not a Thursday of the.
Oh, hang on. It is a Thursday. It is a Thursday. Wait, sorry. I need to correct that. I was getting used to announcing them on the second Thursday of a Grand Slam.
There we go. Exactly. Well,
not the Thursday before it started.
I mean, it was a different day, but it was also the same result.
It was Sara Errani and Andrea Vavasori defending their title, albeit in a different format with different set scores and less matches to play. I think overall it was very funny looking mixed doubles, I think it's fair to say, and different sort of opposition to their usual fellow kind of doubles cohort. But they've walked away with the title again, and they've had a big pay rise because they have walked away with the very much increased prize pot of $1 million this year, which is 5 times more than the $200,000 they got for winning the same title last year. So a bit of an ironic twist of events, really, with them winning and, yeah, actually being better off, even though they did initially, of course, and probably still do disagree with the new format.
Do you think they regret the US Open kind of inviting them in after the hoo-ha that there was around them, not necessarily getting direct entry and then getting a wild card? Because you kind of feel like the US Open wanted, like an Alcaraz, Raducanu, Swiatek, Ruud final. They wanted the big singles players to go deep. Is this a good result for doubles players everywhere and necessarily about a bad result for the US Open mixed double sort of format?
Yeah, I think it certainly motivated them. You could feel that, in the speech afterwards, they said this is for all the doubles players who couldn't play this tournament. So I do feel like they were especially motivated. And I think that for me is like the sort of weird thing about this. You've got players at one end of the spectrum, like the doubles players, taking this very, very seriously. And, fair enough to them because, if you think about it, these players, they've got a responsibility here. They're almost representing everyone who has, plays doubles as their trade. And in theory, they've got they've got the most to lose. If they had lost their first round match to 2 top singles players, a lot of people will be like, well, why do we need doubles players in here in the first place? So I think, it's a really good result for them. But I think for the US Open organizers, I actually think it's a win-win for everyone. We saw great singles players, we saw great doubles. The players were really happy. It seemed fans were loving it as well. And the fact that we had doubles champions, it means that doubles also had its time in the sun. And, they walked away with even more prize money.
It does take the edge off, doesn't it? The fact that the first time they've held it, it actually has gone to a doubles team. So they don't have those people being completely in uproar. The fact that a scratch pairing who'd never spoken 4 words to each other has suddenly walked away with a Grand Slam title. So that definitely helps. But they weren't the only people, Joel, who took it very seriously. Jack Draper and Iga Swiatek took it very seriously, didn't they?
I know they did. I mean, it's interesting, like the mindset I think the singles players had, because some people treated it like an exhibition, some people didn't. I mean, Jessica Pegula was almost offended by Jack Draper calling it an exhibition format.
She really was, Kim. What would you say
Well,
to
it
that?
is an exhibition format. It may not be an exhibition, but it's still the format of one. And I mean, actually, Tim Henman was asked about the new, event as well, and he's quite against it. He thinks it's disrespectful to all the tour events that are still happening the week before. And that's actually something I think when this was announced, I hadn't really thought about all of the other events like Winston-Salem, Monterey, tennis in the land, that we spoke about earlier in the week.
Justice for tennis in the land.
So I just think it's like the Grand Slam saying, we're doing this. We don't care about the WTA and ATP tour. So
do you think it is disrespectful, Kim, the fact that we do have tour events alongside exhibition events?
Not an exhibition.
It's not an exhibition, though. Yeah.
It's the next gen format.
Don't start a Grand Slam before it would normally start, because people have planned their schedule probably already. I mean, okay, a lot of the players wouldn't be eligible for this anyway, because we know they're after star power, but I just think it needs to be tweaked. I'm happy if they can do this next year. I just think there need to be some amendments, but this is a test and learn. I'm sure there will be some amendments. I do wonder if they will potentially either prevent any doubles players from entering, because they might just think, oh, they'll keep winning it, and we want Ruud and Swiatek and the likes of pairings like that to actually come away with the title, to give it even more kind of kudos. But yeah, I think the debate will continue into next year if the organisers would like to do it again.
It is a longer year next year. I think there's an extra week of events that can take place, because that's why it is, because Estoril got bumped.
How can it get longer?
I think it's to do with
my thoughts exactly, Kim.
I think it's to do with how many weeks where you can play tennis. So that's why Estoril got bumped down, because they didn't have enough weeks in between some of the key calendar slams, for example. So potentially they might look at avoiding the conflict in the week before. I'd quite like that. But if we had to do, would you like to see it back? What would we say? I think on reflection, I don't think it's worthy of a Grand Slam title, but I did quite enjoy it. And I did tune in for it. And we're all talking about mixed doubles, which is something we weren't doing before. So I think probably it is net positive. Joel?
Yeah, I would bring it back, but I would treat it as an exhibition and not give it a mixed doubles title. I still think it's weird announcing, having these, a tournament, not during the 2 weeks of a Grand Slam. I think it's perfectly fine to have it, include doubles players. Great. They can use it arguably as practice for, possibly if they do a mixed doubles proper during the 2 weeks. But I think, keep it as an exhibition, but it doesn't need a championship, and treated like it has been this year.
Yes, I think it might be an asterisk year when you're looking at the list of mixed doubles winners in the history books. But Errani, Vavasori, they've got their title, they've kept it, and who knows whether they'll be able to defend it next year or not.
They keep changing the format, Kim, so they just get excluded.
Yeah. Well, we do still have, of course, the main events and all the other competitions still in their rightful places, and that is starting on Sunday. They do have the early Sunday start now at the US Open. So let's get on to previewing the men's and women's draws. We'll start with the men's draw, which is headlined by, of course, the defending champion Jannik Sinner and the world number one. He is right at the top of the draw, but he has also got the likes of Jack Draper in his section. He's got Lorenzo Musetti, Flavio Caboli, so quite a few other Italians lurking in there as well. What were your initial thoughts on Sinner's quarter? Joel?
Well, I was seeing the fact that there's a Masters champion, Alexei Popyrin, who he could face in round 2. That is a very tricky test. And of course, we don't know how 100% Jannik Sinner is. I was reading reports that he has been practicing at the US Open, so that is positive signs. But the fact that, he was 5-love down to Alcaraz only a few days ago, there's going to be some, added interest, I think, into round 1, because it feels like it's a straightforward matchup. But certainly we don't know, I think, at the moment, if Sinner is 100%.
Yeah, and that will time will tell. He's still got a few days till it starts off, and Hopper in, yeah, dangerous. He's not seeded anymore, so he's sort of lurking in the second round. Let's have a look quickly at Jack Draper. He's the 5th seed here. He'll open against a qualifier or a lucky loser. Then possibly Bergs or Zheng. Diallo 3rd round. Musetti possibly 4th round. What do you make of his ability to defend his previous kind of semi-final here?
It's going to be tough. I think this is probably the toughest quarter of the draw. I'm going to put it out there. I think there's not many places to hide. When I was looking at this, I actually didn't even spot Musetti in the mix because I just thought he'd be seeded higher than 10. But obviously, he hasn't necessarily had the best hard court swing coming in here. Did really well on the clay. And he has been kind of ranked higher than number 10 before. But I mean, it's tough. You know, he could face, as you say, like Diallo could be a tough opponent to play in the round 3. But at the same time, Caboli has come off some great form. He was a quarterfinalist at Wimbledon. So there's a lot of players I think who could cause some potential issues for him. And he hasn't played. Jack hasn't played.
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing you have to keep in mind. And also, I was going to say for Sinner, and we've moved on from him, but you know, Bublik, who's recently beaten him, he's lurking there. He's got a tough opener against Marin Cilic, but you also have the likes of Tommy Paul as well playing on home soil. So that's me kind of putting it to you that I think this could be the toughest section to get out of. And I mean, for Jack Draper, probably drawing Jannik Sinner is the toughest quarterfinal you could draw at the US Open.
Yeah, it's a bit of a blow there, isn't it? And I think one of the matches to watch maybe from this quarter, Musetti, Mapeshi, Pericard 1st round. I'm looking forward to seeing what serve speeds Pericard can bring us.
As a Draper fan, I'm just thankful that Bublik has got Cilic, and Cilic is not that near Draper, given what I saw at Wimbledon.
Yes. Will Cilic get the better of Bublik? I think could happen.
Well, Kim, I was looking. He's not played since. He's not played since Wimbledon. So
saving it for when it matters.
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, peaking at the right times.
I mean, Sinner on hard courts, though, since without counting the recent Cincinnati, asterisk, he has won 60 hard court matches and lost only 3. So you've got to think he's in a very strong position, regardless of who is in the draw. Let's have a look at the second quarter. This is headlined by Sasha Zverev as the 3rd seed, but we've also got Alex de Minaur in here, Karen Khachanov, and Andrei Rublev, who's had a bit more form of late, perhaps. Who are you thinking's coming through this one? Joel, you're looking a bit.
It feels this to me feels like a very open quarter, very even. Even Zverev at Cincinnati, yeah, there definitely were kind of physical considerations, I think, by the end. I think Khachanov and Rublev are sort of interesting me, and I'm kind of curious to see how they do. They're in the middle of this quarter, and I think either side of them, there's not too much kind of going on. So I think it's kind of interesting in the middle of this section, more perhaps than either end. I mean, I saw Stefanos Tsitsipas also lose the other day in Winston-Salem. He was the top seed. He is not in great form. I mean, it's crazy.
I'm surprised he's still seeded at slams these days.
I mean, it's crazy to think we could have Tsitsipas versus de Minaur, I think, in round 3. So, so a player who's out of form that, you know, maybe is one to watch on upset alert early on. But yeah, very evenly spread, I think.
Anyone catching your eye in this quarter, Chris?
I am really liking the look of Rublev's draw. I think he's got some good, sort of relatively straightforward, hopefully openers against lucky losers or qualifiers, dependent on who gets placed there. And then Humbert hasn't necessarily been in great form, and the US Open isn't a happy hunting ground for sort of players that play like him, I don't think. So I would like to see him potentially break that quarterfinal duck. I think there's a good opportunity. I think Zverev also hasn't been at the top of his game. And when it comes to the head-to-head that they have, it's actually pretty even. So I think that Zverev has a pretty good draw, but I think that this could be the sort of place where Rublev could turn it around. He's with Marat Safin again. I've spotted
pushed
him.
Alcaraz really deep.
He really did.
7-5 in the third. Yeah.
Well, he had real chances to win that match. So I'm hoping there could be an opportunity, because I did look into this, that of his 7 of his 10 losses in the quarterfinals have been against Sinner, Alcaraz, Djokovic, or Medvedev or Nadal. So he's losing to top tier players. And I do think probably there is an opportunity coming. I don't think this record is going to be extended. So I'm optimistic about Rublev's chances.
He could make his first ever Slam semi-final. Watch this space. On to the second half of the draw. Novak Djokovic is in here as the 7th seed this time. Slightly tricky opener, perhaps, against Lerner Teen, who is a very up-and-coming next-genner that a lot of people were earmarking for future success.
We are going to have so many extended rallies, I feel, in that match. It's going to be one for the purists, I think.
It's going to give Djokovic Teen. Do you think we're going back to that again? Could be.
Yeah, I mean, do you think Djokovic is at risk here in the opener?
I mean, he's not played. He's not played in a while.
We don't know what to expect.
Well, he did have the mixed doubles,
He did play the mixed doubles.
Well,
he played,
granted.
what was it, 12 games?
10 minutes, yeah.
I think Teen's actually a good opening for him because, he's a very, very kind of promising prospect. American in front of the home crowd. I do think, he will be able to test Djokovic. And perhaps, there is a set there for TM, but I do think Djokovic will come through. But I think it's probably a nice match to open with, given he's not really had much tennis recently.
Yeah, I mean, Taylor Fritz is the 4th seed, so he's actually the highest seeded player in this quarter. Also got Jakub Mensik in here, Tiafoe, Alex Michelson, Brandon Nakashima. So quite a few Americans frequenting this quarter. So could possibly be on for a Fritz Djokovic quarter if they both make it there. And Cam Norrie also against Seb Korda as the opener. I was hoping that Norrie would be able to push upwards since Wimbledon and kind of maybe get a seeding, but obviously that hasn't happened, sadly. But
no, it hasn't quite happened for him, has it? I think we were hoping he'd be seeded. But he's been very close. He's 35. And when there've been, I think it's 2 players have pulled out. So he's actually just 1 spot away from being seeded when it came down to it. So very similar to Emma Raducanu in that respect, that he wasn't able to be seeded. And a tough player to face if you're not facing a seed in Seb Korda, who on his day, I mean, he can play some fantastic tennis. I was going to ask you a question around Francis Tiafoe. Are we getting excited? Is he a different prospect when he's playing in New York? He's had some great results here. Do you think he could spring a surprise? And could that surprise be upsetting Novak Djokovic?
Which would be a 4th round encounter, I think, to clarify, should they meet. Yeah,
that's not round 1. Don't panic.
Great session under the lights.
I'm not sure. I know Tiafoe does rise to the occasion. I think he got to the semi-finals last year. I'm still. He's very unpredictable. He's very inconsistent. It's hard to know. I mean, to do that, he would have to come through Holger Rune, a player who's probably still searching for his best form. So yeah, I'm not totally convinced by Tiafoe at the moment. I think there are other Americans, obviously like Fritz. I mean, maybe even Mickelson, because I think he's maybe had a better season in some regards, in some aspects than Tiafoe so far. But yeah, not sure.
And João Fonseca also in this section as well. Will this be the Slam he finally properly breaks through? Perhaps.
When is he going to become seeded? I feel like we talk about him as a player who has got all this potential, and I'm expecting him to be a seed, but he's still unseeded.
Well, ranked 44 in the world, so it will take a little bit more time, a few more tournaments. He's not played a huge amount this year. I mean, for his I think he's played 30 matches this year total.
He's not won a main. I just had a look. He's not won a main draw match at the US Open yet.
But how many times has he played, Joel, at the tender age of 18 or whatever he is? So we're saying finally a breakthrough. I think we can forgive him a couple more years before he has to break through.
That is very true.
And last but not least, the final quarter of the draw does see Carlos Alcaraz as the 2nd seed at the bottom. He is joined by Ben Shelton, 6th seed, home favourite as well. We've got Daniil Medvedev, Davidovich Fokina, Casper Ruud is here as well. He's now back on tour. Yeah, what do you think of Carlos Alcaraz's draw? He's got Reilly Opelka round 1. Is that a possible banana skin in his opener there? Joel,
I was going to say definitely yes, but Joel was pausing, so do tell us, Joel.
Yeah, I think Alcaraz has that. Opelka is a tricky customer on his day. not had the greatest form of recently. It sounds big and scary, but I think Alcaraz has got that, to be honest.
It sounds,
Yeah.
or are you calling him big and scary Opelka? Because he is very, very tall.
You're just
but
scared. Any person who's got a massive serve, you're just sort of scared what they can do if they live up to.
if they can serve you off the court. But he has beaten de Minaur in recent weeks and beat Djokovic and Rune this year. So do you think there is a chance this is the slam where, although he has won it, Alcaraz, at the US Open as well as Australia, tends to fall a little bit earlier than he does at Wimbledon and the French Open? Does this mean there's an even greater chance of an upset here than if it was on another surface, Joel?
I'm not sure.
You really don't think this is going to be tight?
I can't back it, sorry.
I think we've got to go with the, who's been making it deep at most slams. Alcaraz,
I wouldn't
Sinner,
be
Djokovic,
completely surprised if that was an upset. I honestly wouldn't be. I think we've seen him lose to, wasn't it? Was it Van der Zandschulp he lost to here once as well?
Well, I was going to ask you both. I mean, who is the one player you think stands in the way the most between a Sinner Alcaraz final? It sounds like, Chris, you're leaning towards Reilly Opelka.
There's not much else in this part of the draw. I don't think that could cause him too much trouble.
I've got a weird feeling, and I haven't necessarily put this in my predictions, about Casper Ruud.
Oh,
I know.
What
maybe
sort of feeling? Has he made you feel
it's
uncomfortable,
quite-
Kim?
No, maybe it's just the fact that he's been on the doubles court with Swiatek. She's in good form, and maybe that sort of success is going to rub off onto Casper, and he's going to come back with a bang.
Well,
I don't know. I just have a
I'm going to
weird
hold
feeling.
you to that when we get to our
Well, he
predictions,
lost to
Kim.
Did he lose to Rinderknech? I think first round or his first match even in Cincinnati. He's really searching for form, but he's a former finalist. He's a former finalist.
Yeah, it's got to come from somewhere.
What about Ben Shelton? We've not really spoken about Ben Shelton. I think he's
Masters champ.
for me the biggest American prospect in the draw. I put him above Taylor Fritz. I know he's in Alcaraz's quarter, but yeah, I think he's got a decent. He's got a decent draw. I wouldn't be surprised if we do get a Shelton Alcaraz. I mean, Medvedev, 13th seed. Oh, it's
Doesn't feel
Former
right, does
champion.
it? Yeah.
No, we're just not talking about him, are we? Yeah. Oh, well, lots to look forward to. Let's make our tentative predictions now. We'll go quarter by quarter, and I want you all to let me know what you've got, and let's see how different ours may be, or whether we're on the same wavelengths. So, quarter one, Joel.
Sinner Draper.
Chris.
Sinner Caboli.
Oh, I've gone Sinner Diallo. So
Sinner's
slightly
good.
different.
Sinner for all of us, yeah.
Yeah. Quarter two, Joel.
Zverev Kachanov.
Chris.
Rublev de Minaur.
Wow.
Oh, I've gone Zverev Kachanov as well. So kind of tale of two halves there. Quarter three, Joel.
I've got Novak Djokovic, Taylor Fritz.
Chris.
Likewise, exactly the same.
I've got Djokovic and then Fonseca. I think he may have his breakthrough here.
I think you should apologise to our American listeners, Kim, for that one.
Sorry, Taylor. Quarter final four, Joel.
I do have a funny feeling about Casper Ruud, given he's just been in rank form. I'm expecting him to discover
rank as in bad.
Yeah. I'm
What
expecting
an
him to
adjective.
rediscover his mojo that he had a few years ago in New York. I've got Ruud Alcaraz.
I've actually gone for the same. So
I'm
yeah,
glad you
funny,
did, Kim,
weird feelings.
Because you
And,
did vocalise that one pretty heavily.
Yes. And Chris?
Well, I've gone for Shelton Alcaraz, and I think just because every time I do kind of go for a Scandinavian to go deep in a major, they really don't. Like they end up just going out injured in round two. So I'm sticking with the form book on that one.
Right. Now I want your semi-finalists, all four of them, please. So Joel?
I've got Draper defeating Sinner, and he's going to face Zverev in the semi-finals.
Were you saving that one when you said who's the biggest threat to a Sinner-Alcaraz final?
Draper is going to get
Draper.
revenge. He's going to get revenge on Sinner from last year. I know that was a straight sets demolition job, but I've got Draper, Zverev, Fritz, Alcaraz.
Is it the Vuori clothing now that Draper's wearing that?
Yes.
It's
The
firing
mountain
him
that
to
he is.
victory.
The sleeveless look
The arms are going
will
to
carry Draper.
intimidate everyone else.
The lightning bolt.
Chris, what about you?
Big news. Rublev is breaking that quarterfinal duck. He's going to make the semis. He's going to face Jannik Sinner. It's happening with Marat Safin in his box. And Djokovic,
Just shouting
Alcaraz.
at him.
Yeah, I think that's I'm not saying he's going to win that one. I'm not going to reveal that yet. But whatever happens, I think we'll see some less than happy scenes.
And you've got Djokovic, Alcaraz as your second. Okay, well, I've gone for an amalgamation of yours. I've gone for Sinner against Zverev and Djokovic against Alcaraz, which I think might have been the lineup I've gone for the last 3 slams as well.
I think it is, yeah.
Sorry, I feel like I should be more inventive, but well,
you do have the slam spoon of shame at the moment, Kim. So maybe I would mix it up if I were you.
So, yeah. Okay, who's winning though? I was going to call you Alcaraz then, Joel.
Alcaraz. I'll be Sinner then, yeah. God.
So I've got
Djokovic.
a final between Zverev and Alcaraz, and I've got Alcaraz as champion.
Oh, so Joel, you're winning the title then.
Oh, well done.
Yeah.
And Sinner, sorry, Chris.
I think Alcaraz Sinner, unsurprisingly. And I think on a hard court, you got to go with Sinner. I think I've got to go with what I really think will happen.
Even with the illness?
I don't think much of that illness.
You think it's a non-issue?
About 4 days ago.
Yeah, I think he triumphed against adversity last year with the doping ban being announced on the eve of the tournament. I think that's probably more to contend with than, a bit of a cold or a flu heading into this.
Yeah, I've gone for a Sinner-Alcaraz final as well, with Sinner winning. Yeah.
So
he's going to keep the world number 1
We've
ranking.
gone very predictable for a tournament that is notoriously known for
a rogue
really
finalist.
Random finalists and champions.
Yeah, let's hope no more rank performances, Joel.
Okay. What about your bold prediction? So what's kind of out there that you think is going to happen in the men's draw? Chris, do you want to go first?
I'm not sure how bold this actually is, but I think Tsitsipas won't get a set against Muller. I think
Oh, no.
I was going to say, he's not going to get more than 3 games in a set, but thought that was a bit harsh. And then I wasn't going to go all the way for an upset, but I think round 1 is going to be an epic between Djokovic and Leontine. I think it's going to be 5 sets, and Djokovic is going to win from behind, come back from the brink.
Nice. That would be an epic. I don't know how many people care about this one, but I went with Jaume Munar to lose a close one with Diallo in round 2.
Kim, it's a bold prediction. Isn't that? Is he? I guess that.
I don't know how bold that is because Munar's in quite good form.
And Diallo's actually seeded above him.
And
so
Diallo's seeded. So
you just believe it's going to go with the seeding?
I just think that might be something that happens. In other news, Cilic could beat Bublik round 1. He might continue his good slam form of Wimbledon. He is a former champion here, so almost 10 years ago now. So let's see what Marin can do. Joel, what about yourself?
As much as Chris thinks that Opelka Alcaraz could be really close, I've actually gone. I think Alcaraz is going to win. I've said no tie breaks. I think there are going to be no tie breaks in Alcaraz Opelka. I think it's going to be straight sets Alcaraz.
That is a bold prediction.
So straight sets, no tie breaks.
3 tie breaks it's going to be, I'm going to say. Yeah.
And I think Mannarino is going to get to round 3 and push Ben Shelton.
I don't even know who he's got in round 1.
I think we've had a little
Mannarino.
mini Mannarino resurgence recently.
Griegspoor he's got, and then it would be Thompson or Mute.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
go Mannarino. We haven't had the French number 1 conversation for about a year now.
Well,
so
maybe Mannarino's coming back into the fold.
We did do that one to death.
Got to the round of 16 in Cincinnati. Pushed Jannik Sinner. He's coming back in.
Excellent. Right, we're going to take a quick break now, but do join us in the second half where we'll be discussing the women's draw and also unveiling our collect a set player picks. So do not go anywhere. Welcome back to the Tennis Weekly podcast, and it's time now to look at the women's draw at the US Open this year. It is, of course, headlined by the top seed Aryna Sabalenka, who is at the top of the draw. She's not got maybe the easiest quarter. She's got Elena Rybakina floating around in there as the 9th seed, and that's someone who beat her very recently. Paolini is also in there as the Cincinnati finalist, and Leylah Fernandez as well, who had a good form a couple of weeks ago now. Clara Tauson as well as another seed. Quite a stacked draw for Sabalenka. Is she going to carry on her sort of good slam run and make it deep here, or do you think someone might cause her to break that run of form?
I
Chris?
actually think It could be happening. I don't want to kind of spoil my predictions, but I think danger lurks in all areas of her draw.
Oh,
Maybe not so much in the first round. I can't say that I expect her to lose that one, but I do think there are some challenges in there. You know, you've got the likes of Leylah Fernandez, who has obviously picked up a title in the run-in.
former US Open finalist.
Exactly. She
Hmm.
does love the big stage, especially at the US Open. The crowd really kind of cheering her on and she kind of thrives off that energy. But I do think a certain Dane, I'm not just saying this because I'm based in Copenhagen, but Clara, well, Clara Tauson has been playing some fantastic tennis. She's beaten the Wimbledon champion, Iga Swiatek, and she's also beaten Sabalenka this year. And she's also beaten Rybakina at Wimbledon. So I think that's not as easy as it looks for a 14th seed. She's a big player who could do a lot of damage. But I would say, and something that Joel, you may disagree with, I don't think Rybakina is going to do as well as she could in this section because she's got such a poor record at the US
Yeah,
Open.
she does. I didn't realize how poor
Never been
her
past the
record
third
is.
round.
Yeah,
So is she going to break that this year, Joel?
I, I'm still backing Rybakina, and a part of that for me is because of the draw that she's got. I mean, Pareja in the first round. I mean, by the way, this is just a really random quarter. We've got 7 qualifiers and 3 wildcards. There's like a lot. There's a lot going on here,
And
but
none of them are Venus Williams, which seems a bit unfortunate.
We've also got Emma Raducanu unseeded, but she could play Rybakina in the
Round
third
3.
round. So that could be a right call.
Very tasty. Who do you think would come out on top of that if we get that one? Kim? Doubles partners turn
Rybakina,
foes.
yeah, I know. I mean, Emma's obviously had some really close matches with Sabalenka lately. Would it be something of a similar nature with Rybakina? I've got Rybakina kind of going further, so I'll stick with that. But I think Raducanu, she'd have Kudermetova in the second round before that, so that she might not get through that, to be honest.
But a good draw potentially for round 3 and to give herself a chance against some big players. We can test her new coaching situation to see how that's doing. But I thought she
Indeed.
did look pretty good off the ground in the mixed doubles. So I'm not tempting fate in the same way that, you don't like to predict Nadal to win when he was playing Kim. But I do think she is a dark horse here. And probably this is the best she's looked heading into a slam in quite some time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
former
was.
champion, of course, as well.
Yeah.
We've also got Von Druisvet, another former Grand
She's
Slam
dropped off
champion,
since that Berlin title. I mean,
lurking.
that feels like a fever dream.
And Ayala as well does open against Towson. She had a great run of form about 6 months ago, but we'd like to see her go deep at a slam, wouldn't we, and break through there.
You haven't mentioned Goatnet, Magdalenette.
Yeah.
Do you think that she can upset the 32 seed McCartney Kessler?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Definitely. And I mean, also Paolini, not spoken about
Oh,
Paolini.
Paolini.
Who got to
Of
the
course.
final in Cincinnati, one of the informed players. I mean, yeah, she could. Yeah, I don't know. I think she again could be an interesting one to watch if Rybakina, as you said, hasn't got the greatest record here. Maybe Paolini is the one to profit from that.
She played really well against Iga in that final. That was a high quality final they played in Cincinnati. Again, she's not had great form here previously.
No.
The 4th round was her best result last year. But I was thinking you can't really look at the form book when it comes to Paolini because she'd never really done anything on grass at all before she made the final. So it'd be interesting to see if she can actually push on because she hasn't had the sort of Grand Slam year you'd expect from someone who had 2 finals last year and is ranked in the top 8. So I think she'll be looking for a big result here.
Yes. And let's have a look at the second quarter. Mira Andreeva and JPEG are the top 2 seeds in this section. But we also have the Rogers Cup Coupe Roger champion Victoria Mboko as the 22nd.
It's not the Rogers Cup
seed.
anymore,
It's not
Kim.
the Rogers Cup, is it?
We just call it the Canadian Open.
I don't know what it's called now.
Got to be the,
Yeah,
the
sorry.
National Bank.
They've changed banks.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what I mean. I do apologise. But will it be?
What year are we in,
Mboko?
Kim? Yeah.
Yeah, it's Lizzie Davenport in the draw.
She's going to win it, right?
Venus Williams is though.
Well, she
That's
is, yeah.
very true, actually.
Yeah, what do you think of this draw, this section? Who is going deep here? Is Mboko going to be able to continue her good form?
This draw, I think, is so open. Given, I just think the top seeds in this are not playing great tennis at the moment. Not really had, too much talk around Jessica Pegula of late. I think Mira Andreeva's coming back from injury as well. Yeah, it feels very, very open to me. That's why I think it's so exciting that we've got Mboko in this draw. But before we get too excited, she's got Barbora Krejcikova in round one. So that's a really fascinating, contest to kind of look forward to as well.
It will be good, won't it? I also was looking at this and I was thinking it's actually hard to pick someone who you really think is going to make the quarterfinals here. Just because, Pegula had that shock loss at Wimbledon. I was going to say Shamkova's actually playing really well. I actually watched one of her matches over in Mexico the other night, which I thought was I was very impressed with. Like, she's physically very strong, and anyone who Kim has an eye on surely is going to do something big at some point. But
at some point in their career,
yeah, at some point, just not sure when. We have also got Azarenka in there as well. We've got Wimbledon semi-finalist Belinda Bencic, who's also not necessarily had the most form, and another American seed, Emma Navarro, who got dumped out over in Mexico already as well, having dumped Jannik Sinner for the mixed doubles. So,
and she got to the semis last year as well, didn't she?
Well, she's had some great form at this tournament previously. So that's an interesting one. Can Ostapenko spring a surprise? I think it's definitely whoever is able to seize the moment can definitely bag themselves a really good spot, potentially at a semi-final.
Yes, this one's pretty open, so it'd be an interesting one to watch. Third quarter, we'll go into the second half of the draw now. Coco Gauff, third seed, former champ, struggling on serve. I think it's fair to say she's just hired Sabalenka's former biomechanics expert, the guy who really helped transform Sabalenka's serve. So, and let's hope that will help Coco Gauff, because she's really not been in great form.
What do you make
lately
of the timing of that? The fact that it's happened just before a Grand Slam. Is that suggesting panic stations? My serve's not ready for the US Open?
It's really strange to do it at this point. Normally that's something you'd work on over the off season, for example. I think that's what Sabalenka did when she fixed her serve. It makes sense that she's reached out to the same person because there were a lot of the same issues that existed, especially around that second serve. And there's so much more she can get from it. It could be such a weapon rather than her Achilles heel. I did think it was a bit surprising. There were these images of her out there in the rain, still on the practice court, the only player on the practice court in the heavy rain in Flushing Meadows. And she was out there with her new biomechanics coach or expert, because she really is running out of time to fix it before the US Open. And it does just make you think, actually, she would have been much better to potentially have tried to, partner a little bit sooner, because it is desperate stations if you're trying to do this the week before the US Open. Change your service action to fix it. Maybe you'll get a couple of tips, but this is something that takes a long time to kind of reconstruct part of a service action. And I don't think that necessarily you'll have the most confidence in that shot if you only changed it the week before.
I mean, she's also sacked her coach, Matt Daly, as part of this recent move. So a lot of changes going on. She's got Tom Yanovich first round, who is no easy walkover, is she? She can really play some great stuff. So yeah, a bit of a tricky one for Coco Gauff. I'd be really curious to see if this expert can make some, instant changes. But we'll all be curiously watching Coco's serve and seeing how many double faults she can clock up or avoid in her opener.
Kim, the question I had when I looked at this quarter, is this Naomi Osaka's time? Because you just spoke about coaches. Naomi Osaka, no longer with Patrick Muratoglu, seemingly playing some great tennis since Wimbledon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's got a really nice draw here.
Yeah, opens against Greet Minnen, then maybe Hailey Baptiste-Siniaka for second round, Kazatkina. But if Coco Gauff's not going to make it, then yeah, she's got a pretty nice section. Madison Keys would probably be the toughest opponent that she may meet in the quarterfinal. But yeah, I think this is her best chance since she's come back from, having her child to go deep at a slam.
And being seeded
really
helps, doesn't it? It's the first time she's been seeded since she's come back from her maternity leave, and she had so many bad draws against top players in the first couple of rounds. So it'll be interesting to see if she is given that bit of space, if she can do something, because we've always thought the US Open would be the place where whatever happened early in the year, it tends to be US Open, Australian Open is where she gets those results. It's where all her slams have come from. But I was going to say, we haven't talked about some very interesting kind of competitors in this section because Caroline Garcia, this is the last time you might see her in a draw sheet. I believe that's correct, that she's wrapping up here, unless she is going to play in the Fed Cup or something like that. How do you feel about her draw? And do you think she's got a shot at a last couple of wins?
I think she could beat Rakhimova first round. Don't think she'd get through Kazatkina, but you never know. The freedom of knowing this is your last tournament can totally change things, can't it? So I hope she has a final good hurrah. We'll bid farewell to the Renaissance. We also have Venus Williams as a wild card. She's up against Muchova. So where do you think, we were talking the other day about where her match was going to be scheduled. Where do you think the organisers are going to put this one?
I mean, night session, Ash, 100%.
Yeah.
Joel?
Because it's against Muchova, fellow seed. Well, not fellow seed, a seed.
Day session first on, get the crowd in.
No.
Really? I saw
That's
Venus
harsh.
Williams play her last match, and that was against Greek Minin, and that was a night session match. So I think surely against Muchova, that gets you bumped up.
Well, interestingly, I've just looked up their head-to-head. It is 1-0 to Muchova, and that match was at the US Open, round 1, 2020. Muchova 6-3, 7-5. So,
well, we've waited 5 years. Better be
5
worth
years
the
in the
wait.
making.
Exactly.
And Katie Boulter's up against Marta Kostiuk. Boulter not seeded anymore for the Brits, so yeah, she's slipped down, not being in the best of form.
Going well this week though.
Yeah, doing all right in tennis in the land so far, so good. I also liked that there's Sorana against Solana with Steyer playing Sierra. So
God, that is a tricky one to see. I was going to say, I also think we should maybe christen this section the on the way out section because Kvitova's also here as well.
Yes.
Hadn't really clocked that one. I'm not really sure why there's not a wild card next to her name. I guess she's using her sort of protected ranking to get into this tournament. She could potentially face Madison Keys, who's a player that we haven't talked about yet either, the Australian Open champion back on hard courts. Do you think that could be a tight match if it happens? And do you think that Keys could potentially go deep again at a slam? Kim, you're nodding your head furiously.
well, I think, yeah, she's got quite a nice section. And I think back on a hard court, she's pretty consistent at slams. I think she was ill, wasn't she, when she lost at Wimbledon, I think. So I think she's, yeah, it's a good one to go for, I think.
Yeah.
Certainly probably the best American to come out of this one at the moment, I think.
Would you expect Keys to go further than Coco Gauff?
I think so.
I'm trying to think, did I? I'm going to say yes, but I can't remember what
We'll
I've
find out in a
actually
minute when we do
predicted.
our predictions. Final quarter, though, we've got another American in here as the 8th seed. Anisimova, of course, the last time she played at a slam, she didn't lose a game. She didn't win a game in the Wimbledon final. So we'll have to see how she makes her way back onto a Grand Slam court. She may face Wimbledon champion Iga Swiatek in the quarterfinal because she's in this section as well. And actually, Swiatek's draw looks pretty okay. Do you think this is kind of hers to lose, Joel?
Yeah, I mean, I think of the top players, she has been given the easiest draw. I don't really see any big changes there, apart from maybe Kalinskaya, which, Chris, I know
I'm going to have to tell you.
You've got big opinions on that, but
I've got a pastry. Yeah, I've got a pastry riding on that, Joel. I made a bet with one of my friends that I just saw Kalinskaya the other day and I thought she really does hit the ball well. She did lose to Iga Swiatek in that one. So I think my prediction, I said, watch out, she's going to make it to the final. I'm not thinking that she will now. But on the Iga side of things, you said that there's not necessarily someone that could probably beat her in this section. Do you think that this just means that like she'll be, I think someone's kind of suggested it's kind of a cakewalk to the semi-finals?
I personally think so.
A pastry walk?
I'd almost
I think
be like
bakery is opening.
I think, like she could get to the semi-finals quite comfortably without dropping a set.
I know what we should do. How many bagels will she deliver on her way?
Does that include
semi-finals?
Breadsticks? Bagels only?
How many bakery items will go for?
Oh, okay.
I'm going to say semi-finals would be 5 matches. So I'm going to say 6.
Oh, that's big. That's a lot. I'm going to say 4.
Is this bagels and breadsticks or just
Yes.
bagels?
Yes.
Oh, right. 4 as well.
Right, okay.
Had to think
I'm
then.
taking
yeah.
you both on then, yeah.
Surely there'll be one in the Susan Lamons or Valerie Glosman second round.
Kim.
Oh.
But I mean, is there anyone else like Deanna Schneider, Alexandrova, Hadad Sophia Kenin? Any sort of thoughts on those players? Svitolina, Chris, you normally
I always
Svitolina.
back Svitolina. I was very disappointed with that Wimbledon loss. I do think she's got a good draw. She's got a good record against Nisimova. She's beaten her a number of times. So I'm hoping that she can do something. Also, Lois Brasson is back in a slam draw, having missed Wimbledon. And also something that I would like to see is Sevastova has played pretty good tennis here before. She's had some upsets, so I think she actually might make the draw a little bit easier for Iga if she takes out Alexandrova on the way. But one final question on this section. Who's going to win the Battle of the Marias? We've got Maria Sakkari versus Tatiana Maria. Who's your money on, Joel?
Probably be Sakkari, to be honest. At this point, Maria, fantastic grass court player. Not much elsewhere, so I'm going to have to go with Sakkari.
Okay, I think we're all in agreement with that.
Yes. Well,
I do think that's a nice part of the draw, though. I mean, Sonny Cartal is very near there. Has had Admire first round. I could see Cartal potentially doing the upset there, and if she does that, quite a nice passage through to round 3 potentially against Svitolina.
I think
getting
Collins,
another tattoo somewhere.
Collins could take out Anisimova. She's playing her last tournament of the year. She's announced. She looked pretty fired up in the mixed double. So we've not talked about her yet. And I think probably I'd back her to take out Amanda. I'm not sure that I feel I've got the same feeling you had about Casper. I've not got for Anisimova.
No, I just think the pressure, all that expectation as well. The maybe the Wimbledon final will.
Would you even like to see Anisimova versus Swiatek again, given what happened last time?
Yes, of course. I want to see what happens. We love that sort of drama, don't we?
Well, Chris has said Swiatek is going to have 6 bagels or breadstick.
I might need that contest to happen.
He needs that to happen.
Yeah.
Right. Let's make some predictions then, quarter by quarter, as we did before. Chris, coming to you first. Quarter 1, who have you got?
I would like Joel to go first, actually, because I'm not very confident in this one. Yeah,
you're not changing it last minute, are you?
I'm a bit panicked.
Can't do that.
I've gone. I've gone. I'll start us off with a fairly safe prediction. Sabalenka Rybakina.
Famous last words. Fairly safe. I've also gone for the same, Sabalenka Rybakina. Chris?
I'm going to stick with what I have written down here. I've gone for Tauson Paolini.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Quarter 2, I've gone for Samsonova against Mboko. So Victoria is coming through. Chris?
I've also gone for Samsonova, but I'm going to go for her round 1 opponent. I think Krejcikova is going to make the quarterfinals.
And Joel?
I've got Jessica Pegula. She's got to find form at some point. So I've gone JPEG and Mboko.
Okay.
So 2 for Mboko.
Sorry, Coco.
2 Mbokos. Yeah.
Mboko over Coco. Okay, quarter 3. I've gone for Keys against Osaka. And Chris?
I've actually done exactly the same. I think that
snap.
Yeah, Gauff might not make it out of there.
Yeah. And Joel?
Well, so I just said sorry, Coco. I just had this for some reason. I had this vision that Coco was in Mboko's quarter, but that is completely wrong because I put in my quarter 3, Keys versus Gauff. Gauff is gonna. What I find fascinating about Gauff is that despite all these troubles on her serve, it's not like she's not competitive and winning matches. She's still playing, good enough tennis to beat the majority of players. So, I'm still backing Coco Gauff to an extent, let's say. So I've got Keys Gauff.
We do set the bar high for her. And quarterfinal 4, Chris?
As always, Svitolina, and then Swiatek, because I need her to get those bakery goods on her way there.
Svitolina is such a stalwart of your predictions. It's
I actually
great.
don't. I need to look at the last time I didn't predict her for a quarterfinal.
And Joel.
I've got Anisimova Swiatek.
Okay, the bakery is happening potentially. I've gone rogue. I didn't feel like Anisimova was going to make it there. I thought I've got to put a rogue person in. So I've gone for Ashlyn Kruger against Iga Swiatek.
You always like one rogue, really
I
rogue
do.
one, and I think that
Yep.
probably lives up to that.
Kruger.
Ashlyn
Love it.
Kruger.
Yeah. On her home, home slam, she's going to do it. Semi-finals, right? Who are your 4 players? Chris?
I've just realised that means I didn't go for Sabalenka. I was about to say Sabalenka. I'm not. I'm saying Paolini, Samsonova.
And?
Keys, Swiatek.
Okay, nice. Joel?
Yeah, I've got Keys Swiatek in the bottom half. Sabalenka Pegula top half.
I've also got Keys Swiatek, so we are in very much agreement there. And I've gone for Sabalenka against Mboko.
Mboko get into the semi-finals.
Well, it was either that or Samsonova, but neither was actually convincing me. But it's
Neither
just the
was
way the
singing
draw
to me either.
Okay.
happens. And your finalist and champion, Chris.
I actually think we're going to get a repeat of the Cincinnati final. I think Paolini's going to make another final. I think she's going to end up with another dish, unfortunately, and not a trophy. So I've gone for Swiatek winning that one.
She'll hold a nice dinner party with all those plates, though, which, maybe she
How
could
many
dine
US
out
Open
around.
towels
Yeah.
is she going to knit? That's the
Yeah.
bigger question.
They've actually
Well,
ordered
they're not as
more.
nice as
Yeah.
Wimbledon ones,
Yes.
though, are they? Yeah. Joel, what about yourself?
I've gone for an old tradition. Sabalenka Swiatek Grand Slam final.
1v2, as always.
1v2. And I've got Aryna Sabalenka winning as the top seed.
Okay.
I think she's going to win a Grand Slam this year.
I've gone for Sabalenka Swiatek as well, but I have gone for Swiatek to win. And I shall have some strawberries and pasta to celebrate if she does so.
Have you had any strawberries and pasta recently, Kim?
I haven't. No, I've had strawberries and pasta, just not together. But
The
I
weather's
wouldn't.
turned.
I would not have it again. Yeah. So if she wins, I'll get some out.
Okay,
and
great.
Combine them. Absolutely. What about a sort of out there prediction then for the women's draw? Anyone got any thoughts? I think Gauff is going to lose to Jessica Boozers Monero in the second round.
Oh
Ooh.
wow! I mean,
like
you
that.
do love a bit of Jessica. I've actually gone for something similar. I don't think Goff is going to make it past round 2, so I think potentially Vekic could cause a bit of a problem there. I'm just not seeing the sort of tennis that she's capable of playing. And I think under pressure, if you change that service action, I'm not convinced.
Joel?
I've got Arango getting double bageled by Swiatek in the first round.
But that's 2 bagels already in round 1.
Famously-
You said
Bold.
4 on the way to the semi-final.
I know, 50%. Famously, because Arango got double bageled by Navarro at the Merida Open.
Famously, did you say?
I said famously.
I remember that
Oh.
well.
Can't say I was watching.
So I think she's going to get served. I'm sorry, Arango, but I think she's going to get served another double bagel.
I mean, I'm talking about Emma Navarro. I've got her losing in the first round to Wong. I just don't think Navarro's going to defend any of her points. Yeah.
I think that's not a bad guess at all. I think I've also gone quite bold and I've written quite a lot of this in capitals. So I'm not going to scream it at you, but I think that's what I was feeling at the time. I think Clara's going to take out Sabalenka and that Sabalenka will end the year slamless, is what I've written in capitals. I just think she doesn't handle the pressure cooker that can be the later rounds of Grand Slams. And I think a bit like, when Serena had won all the slams coming into it, it's almost the reverse. She's not trying to get the Grand Slam, she's trying to get a Grand Slam. And I think it's not going to happen for her.
Nope, I think that's a fair prediction. Well, watch this space. Listeners, let us know what you thought about our predictions there. We'll be putting them all out on social channels in due course, so you can
Judge
let
us
us
at
know your
will.
thoughts then. But we do also have one last thing to preview, if you like, and that's our Collect a Set, which we are bringing back for the US Open. So this is our quarterly player prediction challenge for the slams. For those of you who haven't played before, we have 6 players and you need to predict what round you think they will get to. And if you think they're getting all the way to the final, just be clear about whether you think they're winning the event or going to finish as the runner-up. We have 3 male players, 3 female players, and your predictions for the rounds need to be in before the start of play on Sunday. So you've got a couple of days to get them in, and the predictions can be sent to us via all our social channels. So, big reveal. Who are our player picks for this year? And I did forget to mention the winner gets a very exciting Tennis Weekly mug and hat, which is very exciting. Yeah. So, male players. Joel, would you like to do the honors?
Right. US Open 2025 male player picks for collector set are Novak Djokovic, Ben Shelton, Andrei Rublev.
Okay. And Chris, female player picks, please.
I'm not sure I can live up to the delivery of Joel there, so I'm just going to go straight into it. Aryna Sabalenka, Iga Swiatek, and Madison Keys.
Excellent. So we've got Djokovic, Shelton, Rublev, Sabalenka, Swiatek, and Keys. Let us know. Get your predictions in before the start of play on Sunday. We'll be revealing ours in our opening round podcast, which will be Tuesday evening UK time next week. We'll be catching up on all the action from the first round of play. It's going to be a bit of a roller coaster, I think, over the next 2 weeks. And we hope this has been a nice introduction to the US Open. Only a few days till it kicks off.
Yes, indeed. And for all of our UK listeners, we've got a lovely bank holiday. So definitely can tuck in.
Oh.
Definitely can tuck in on Sunday evening. But we're going to wrap up our US Open draw preview episode there at Tennis Weekly HQ. We hope you've enjoyed the ride with us. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss a moment of action from the 4th and final major of the season, the US Open, which begins on Sunday. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and all your favorite podcasting platforms out there.
And if you love what you're hearing, then be sure to leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. I'm so sorry. I'm giggling about Jaume Munar almost beating Gabriel Diallo. So I'm going to go and watch that one excitingly when it happens in round 2.
And for our US listeners, Labor Day is on Monday, the 1st of September. So you do get a bank holiday soon. So we're not rubbing it in from the Brits too much there. But you can stay connected with us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and X, where we'll be posting clips as well as polls throughout the tournament. And you can see what we think as the tournament progresses. So do make sure you follow us there. And if you want to get in touch with us, if you'd like to email your collector set picks, for example, you're also able to do that at tennisweeklypod@gmail.com, or you can visit our website, tennisweekly.co.uk.
And we'll be back on Tuesday for our US Open Round 1 catch-up. But until then, it's goodbye from Kim.
Goodbye.
It's goodbye from Chris.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time on Tennis Weekly.